Hello you guys, it's Eli here, and I know it's been a while, but I want to go over... I recently just listed my car on Bring a Trailer, and the auction got finished with, so I want to give you guys a review, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and kind of how it worked out. So I got the website pulled up here. This is what the website's going to look like when you get on it. I've never quite been on a computer, I always use it on my phone. My phone's pretty similar to it. You got all the cars on the right side. You got the features auctions at the top. You can see everything that's going on there. It'll give you a bid price and how many days are left on it. It's a nice little platform if you want to go on here and check out cars, get an idea what something's going for. And let's check out this M3. So you can see here, it'll give you the time frame when it ends, give you the current bid, and then you could watch it here. So anytime somebody comments anything or places a bid, you'll be notified of it. It's pretty convenient. I think they'll email you if I'm not mistaken. That's the way I got mine done. And then you can also comment here. But you got a bunch of pictures, you got the year, you get a nice little summary of the car, and they do a really good job of this. They really do. It's someone actually goes through here. I don't know how much of it's copied and pasted, but based on the information you give them, they'll go through here and write you a nice little summary of the car, where it came from, how many miles are on it, what's all done to it, if it's all stock or not, service records. You see here, the listing details here. It'll give you the VIN, miles, motor, the seats, anything you could think of on the car. Very nice. You'll see a bunch of pictures of the car. I think when I listed my car, I had over 120 pictures, and that was not enough. And then you get down to the bottom here, and you'll see the current bid and what user has it. You'll see the time left again. You'll see the actual day it ends. You'll see how many people bid on it. I'm not registered to bid, but I'm pretty sure you just put up your credit card there and you bid it, and if it hits the reserve, I believe you're obligated to buy it. Now, the seller does not deal with any of the shipping. I personally did not have to deal with any of the shipping. Had it sold, it did not. And for the most part, they have their own service, trucking company. They'll come get the car. I think it's nationwide, anywhere in the United States. They'll get the car for you, ship it, take care of it. I think they offer open, close, trailer, platform, whatever you guys need. And you'll see here, you'll see the comment section. You'll see the actual seller. He can upload videos, respond back to the comments. I responded to every single comment, just about, except for the people out there that would kind of bring up pointless conversation in your chat. I kind of avoided them. I stayed more towards the people that were asking questions or concerned or just were nice with the car and said nice things about it. When I came to just, there were some people that got in an argument about the California regulation code. Completely pointless. Didn't have anything to do with the car. They just happened to do it. The way these auctions work, you'll have 7 days. You'll have 7 days, and you can just see here all the listings, all the comments here. Let's go ahead and check out how it works. We'll check out it right here, how it works. Yeah, you'll submit your car. I'll pull up. There's 3 different platforms you can go with. A classic, which that's what I went with. You take a bunch of pictures of the car. They ask a bunch of questions, like how many miles, what's all done to it, has been in any accidents, you know, pretty much the normal questions when selling a vehicle. And they ask you to be honest. I can only imagine how many people are not honest, but just $100, and then you send it in, and you don't pay the $100 if it's not accepted. You don't pay the $100. You have to send the vehicle in, and then they get a hold of an agent, and the agent will talk to you, and then they have to set a reserve price, and we'll get into that. I didn't like my reserve price at first. This is kind of like I don't know, I guess not a scam, but kind of bad business, I feel like, on their end, where they get into, they're gonna lower your reserve way less than the vehicle just because they make a 5% profit on the sale of the car. You get your money, but if you sell your car for $50,000, the seller receives all the money but the buyer pays 5% of $50,000, and that's how Bring a Trailer makes their money, on top of their shipping, which also costs extra. So, you know, they make money that way, and also by the listing fee. But if you get into the more expensive, there's the Plus photography, which is the next step up. You'll have somebody come out there, inspect the car, and get a bunch of pictures for an additional $230. So that's $330 total you'll pay to have somebody come out. And for me, it's just kind of pointless. Most of these cameras on our phones do a well enough job. I didn't use my camera phone. I used an actual camera, and I took anything I could think of, and I sent it in. I didn't get there was a few pictures I missed out on, and then a few extra things like damage to my car I took pictures of when they asked more specifically. Things I just looked over, things that I didn't really think were necessary, but, you know, again, I see the car every day. I'm not somebody who's not even going to come look at it and buy it online. But then here is the white glove service. I don't know how much this one costs. I just know you call into them, and I think they walk you through everything, and they set up what they think is best for you and your car. Don't really necessarily know how the bidding works, but here we go. Buyer pays a 5% fee on top of the final sale price. So they only cap out at $5,000. So you only get charged up to $5,000. But that's how they make their money. And you can imagine they're taking so many of these cars and tons of cars. Every day I get an email of auctions that are ending and auctions that are starting. It's just so many. There's a seller. Seller pays a $100 listing fee. And if you want to go with the bigger upgrade with the extra pictures, somebody comes out there and looks at the car, it's $330. I didn't do that. Okay, so you see here, this is a more detailed listing of it. Oh, would you look at that? I guess it's a little higher price. This is going to tell you everything they do. A whole list of everything. You submit your vehicle, pictures and videos. They accept it. If they like the car, they accept it. If they think it's going to sell, is what they should say. If they think it's going to make them money, they'll list it. Then you'll be in contact with a special auction agent. Now, my experience with my guy, he was super nice guy. I think the $100 alone is worth the process. Just how much I was able to reach out to this guy. I was a first-time seller, so I didn't quite know exactly what to expect. My auction specialist agent really was helpful for me. Really, according to him, said there was nothing more we could have done. He thought of everything that we could have done to improve the sale quality, get the most money out of it, and help other people with their questions as well. Very helpful. I think that's worth the $100 alone. Now, after that, after you get all the information, and let's say there's no more pictures that they require from you, they're gonna write your big listing, and that's the what you saw with the BMW listing we saw earlier. Pictures are gonna list all that out, show all of the information of the car itself, and then they'll submit a rough draft to you, and then it's up to you to accept it or deny it. I accepted mine. There was a couple things I'm like, but, you know, it was overlooked. I didn't think it would tarnish the value of the car by any means. And then they send the car out to the auction schedule, and they were able to schedule my car very soon. So, all things considered, it took about 3 weeks to list the car. 3 weeks starting from when I personally put all my pictures and information on the car, about a week. And the first week, I got to the accepting phase. They looked at my car, they reached out to me, they said they're going to review it, they did review it, and then I had a reserve price of $65,000 on this car, okay? Car I thought was every worth of $8,000. Turns out, they wanted to lower that. They said, oh, we can do $55,000. I'm like, well, wait a minute. And you can read it in here. If your car hits the reserve price, you are obligated to let it go. I don't know if you actually 100%, like, if they're going to hold it against you in court if it went that far, but you're obligated. So I was considering letting go of my car for a price that was much lower, and that's if it didn't bid that high. I'm like, you know what, if it bids that high, I'll cut my ties with it. I was ready to let go of it. So after about a week of just going back and forth, it was very slow at first, very kind of frustrating. Then he eventually raised the reserve price to $58,000. I said, you know what, fine, I don't think it's gonna go for that less, so, or that small of an amount. We accepted it, and then I got in contact with the specialist, a different person, and this is the guy that was very helpful, very informative and walked me through the whole process, talked to me about my questions, my concerns, even made like a personal relationship with me and asked me why I was doing it, or you know, he loved the car. He loved the car and he thinks it's gonna do alright, and he asked why I was selling it. And I told him, hey, I wanted to buy another car. I want a different dream car of mine to come up. After all that, the auction went live. Here's what I don't like, other than the people that, or other than the reserve price being extremely not where I want it to be. They start your bid with nothing. So if you had a reserve price of $50,000, they start you at nothing. Okay. Start you at nothing, and with 7 days to go, my car didn't pick up any traction. My car was not perfect by any means. That first day, I think somebody bid it up to $10,000. So I'm like, okay, I would have liked to have seen it go about halfway up, because we're like not even close to reserve. Give me like half to my reserve, and then see if it actually picks up traction. I'd like to think it would. You know, throughout the course of the week, you'll get people who ask questions, people who, you know, are interested in the car. They can actually come out and see the car. They can privately message you. There's an email where they can privately email you. I actually had in contact with a few people. I had one guy come out, fly a plane, and come see the car, and I don't think he was interested in it at all, really, but he at least came out to see the car. Everyone else did not. I had a couple people get a hold of my phone, or they got my phone number through the personal email system. So that's kind of cool, how you don't have to give out personal information throughout the whole comment section, because you can see how many people save the car, you can see how many people view the car. It's nationwide, anyone can really see it. You don't just want to post your information out there. After about midway through the week, still kind of slow. You had a couple jokers in the comment section, and I don't know, that can be frustrating to deal with people, especially people that aren't serious and they just like to belittle the car. That's just a whole nother conversation for another time. It eventually came down to the last day. The last day is where it really picks it up. My car went from not even close, it was like 20,000, and it went all the way to 50,000, all within like the last 2 hours. And I was at work, so I couldn't really see it. I didn't have time to look at it or anything. And I'm trying to answer all these questions too when I have time. Ended up not hitting the reserve price. However, when it doesn't hit the reserve price, you get the contact information of the highest bidder. And it's up to you guys if you want to work out a deal, and Bring a Trailer has nothing to do with it at that point. Reach out to the guy, he said he wanted to buy it, and then backed out. But you know what, I'm glad I didn't sell it. I'll just hold on to it. It's only going to appreciate in value someday. There are some things that would change. I learned a bit from here. I learned what ways to improve, what ways to just kind of avoid certain problems. I guess it was all around positive, except for the few jokers in the comments section. There's just, you're not gonna avoid that though. A lot of people who love the car, a lot of people who even wanted the car. I wish there was more people that got to see it, had the opportunity to actually come look at it in person, but not so many. And that guy who backed out, I don't know how. I mean, I assume that's because it didn't hit the reserve. They're not obligated to buy the car either, but I figured that if they wanted it, they should have bid on it. They shouldn't have bid on it. I think Bring a Trailer is not a bad platform if you don't want to list your car on Marketplace or AutoTrader or anything like that. It's a very nice, convenient, easy way to do it. Just, it's a long process. If you want to sell your car and you don't really know a whole lot, these people will walk you through it. Very nice. Very hard to get a hold of them, though. Very hard to call them. You just gotta kind of wait for them to get back to you, so that's kind of frustrating. I know not everyone wants that, to wait for that, but if you want everyone in the nation to see your car, it's a very popular platform. Ever get in a spot where I want to again, I think I would use this. All around, not a bad website, not a bad platform. If you want more, if you want your car to be put out there, if you want it to have more eyes on it, I think this is the way to go. That's all in this video. Sorry it's been a while, and hopefully somebody finds this and finds it helpful or useful.